morning, I'm from the council. My name is Maura Skinner, and I'm just going to ask a few questions to help make life easier for disabled people, and any feedback we get would be very much appreciated. It is all confidential.
Okay, I'll try to explain. My name's Annie. I'm going to be the interpreter today. What's your name? My name is Marion.
Okay, right here. Thank you very much. So we'll get on with these questions. If there's anything,
I will try, yes.
if there's anything whilst I'm asking that you want to interrupt or stop me talking, please say so.
Okay.
These questions are just to help you. What services in the council do you regularly use?
What, like council access or? At the moment I'm trying to ask, you know, for reduce for disabled people, like my deaf friends have reduced their council tax reduced, to get their council tax reduced, but I didn't know about that. Maybe £400 a year off. So disabled people get £400 off, but I'm keep asking, emailing, and I'm just waiting.
Right.
So I applied last week. I'm just waiting to hear back.
Okay.
I'm a support worker, so I help my clients, you know, lots of my clients. I know lots about the council and the housing benefits and tax, anything like that. Yeah. So I sort of regularly have to help. So I need an interpreter for that. So I have to book an interpreter and go again. If they don't have one, go back on another date.
Do you have to book your interpreter weeks ahead of your appointment?
Usually maybe 1 week wait for an interpreter, but sometimes if they have staff that can sign, if they're there, then we use that.
Right. That's interesting.
But it's quite basic sign then. Really needs to be better, like a qualified interpreter. Yeah, so we need time to book it and then wait a week or 2 weeks for an interpreter.
Okay. So you might have missed.
So I can ask to visit me. I can ask that to visit me at my house.
Do they allow you to take an interpreter with you?
But who would pay for that then? Who would pay for the interpreter if I took them with me? The council have to book the interpreter.
Ah.
And then they pay, not me.
So you cannot take a friend that is an interpreter along?
What, so they'd be a volunteer then? They'd have to be a volunteer?
Yes. Yeah.
But usually interpreter expects to be paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has to be through the council really.
When you go,
It's good. It's good that they provide that though.
yeah, it is good. It's just a shame that you have to book it so far ahead and they don't have one more accessible.
Yeah.
And when you go into the council buildings or get to it, do you find the accessibility on getting to the building itself?
Or there's a problem with the bell. I'm pressing the bell, but I can't hear them if they're speaking to me. You know, there's like a little panel that I have to press.
And have you mentioned this to the council before?
So I have to sort of let them know in advance I'm coming at that time. So if I have to just wait maybe for a hearing person to walk past and ask them if they can help me if I'm waiting at the panel. Same with the car park, there's a barrier, but I can't speak into the system there, so that is a problem.
Right. Do you have to pay to go into the council car park?
If I go to a car park I pay, but the council, if the barrier's opened, yeah, but that's a problem getting in there.
Yeah. And have you again mentioned this to the council offices or any helping system?
I have to give them my car number, so then when I arrive they can see, so instead of speaking to me, they've got a camera, they can see it's me and they let me in.
You've obviously encountered this problem before. Have you had any feedback on help?
So I do have to email, I have emailed and complained.
Do you get a responsive reply from the council?
Yeah, usually they do, maybe about 1 week they take to reply.
Oh, 1 week.
That's quite slow really.
Is it easy to get through to the council on formats? Do you have any problems through the computer?
So, you know, if I send it and then I've got to wait, yeah.
Is there a telephone system that you could use?
There's a problem with that though. You need a third party. So you need a third party to ring for you. So the hearing person is basically like a third party, so no, I don't. I just think that's different. I don't really like that, so no, I don't use the phone. Hearing people use the phone.
But there is a system that...
So I don't like to talk, no.
No.
Oh, it's not confidential, is it? Because there's a third person.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So really our information getting to you and you getting back to us is not that good.
It can be difficult. There's a form, that's quite difficult. So sort of if I do it wrong, I've got to do it again. I really need an interpreter with me just to fill out the form because English isn't my first language. BSL is my first language. I find English difficult, sort of the words, understanding the words, what does it mean?
So how do you think we can improve that service?
Maybe have video. Maybe have videos explaining with signers. That would be quite good.
Okay. There's some more questions, I'm sure. What do you find people's attitude when you go into council buildings towards your disability?
They're very helpful, not really a problem. They're all very deaf aware. I think they've had training, deaf awareness training.
Yeah,
That's very good.
That's good. How can we promote more help towards hearing difficulty problems or any disabilities in council buildings or councils?
Maybe on the door have like a video for communication so I can sort of sign. Maybe that would be good on the door. Or all the receptionists know some basic sign language.
Would like Skype or any communication would be better than having to fill in forms? Maybe. you thought about that?
I think they should have, sort of live video, signed video there in the council, meaning that I can go, and then, you know, an interpreter can come on and I can ask questions and have a conversation with the council through an interpreter. They should have one there at the building.
Yes, and not just a fortnight having to book one in.
Yeah, absolutely, they should set that up.
Do you go to any regular on any regular council forums or local meetings? Residents association?
They've never asked me, no.
Never asking. So that's another thing the council could do to help.
Yeah, that's true.
So
maybe they could ask the deaf group or, to come along and... Disabilities at the hospital, they have a group where they go every month. But the council, no, they don't come along.
now hospitals and GPs and all those.
They do have, the hospital have it. They have it there at the parking, it's very good. You go, plenty of, that's really improved. They have a laptop, a signer. Yeah, Frimley Park have that, really good. But no, I've never heard.
So maybe that's another thing, that when you're getting in touch with the council next, you could suggest some of these things.
Yeah, maybe needs a group as well to discuss that. Maybe they don't know who to contact.
That's right, but I suppose everybody has to be made aware, or you don't know it's there. Because they're all hearing people, they don't realise people out there has a disability, whether it's hearing or lack of mobility, how to cope with it, unless it's mentioned or highlighted. So the responsibility goes on all our heads.
I think through the housing association there, when you apply for council housing or anything, they do assess your needs there if you have a wheelchair, but that has to go through the housing association. So there is there some contact.
But not for hearing.
Maybe if a deaf person needs, you know, the video on the door, it's difficult to get because the council won't pay for that. It has to be the housing association to agree to that.
So it's all down to cost in the end. Right.
It's all about funding, yes, funding is a problem.
But some things probably could get over without too much funding, but as long as they're made aware of it.
Yeah. But the council's different, like care for older people, that's not through the council, that's through the social services. So the council needs to be involved more, like the council tax. So, you know, who pays or doesn't pay the council tax.
Maybe the disabled forum would have more of a pull or information to help to make the council more aware and to spend money on it.
Maybe you can ask for the information for me to give that along to me.
That's a good point, really. That should be on the websites, because you obviously need a larger association to get in touch with the council to push for help.
The website is good, it is very good, but sometimes it's sort of knowing which one. I'm not really sure sometimes, but if there was a person signing there.
What is this on the Disability Forum?
No, I've never seen that. No.
Right,
Maybe need to look.
because
see
if
that.
there is a Disability Forum, there would be somebody in there speaking people to get hold of the council to fight for you and other problems that you have occurred.
They need deaf involved, really, don't they, in that?
They need a hearing person involved with the disability problem.
They need an interpreter as well.
Correct. Yeah. How are we doing on time? Okay, running out of options here. Is there any other things you think that would help?
The council need to be more involved, really, with old people and disabled people. Need to be more involved because they don't know what to do. And that's part of my job, really, sort of finding help for them. It's just not there. So social services they have more power, I think, but the council need to help as well. They need to decide, sort of where you live, in a care home, where you're going to go. If you're deaf, is there a deaf care home? You're just going to sit there, or maybe move to a different area. But, maybe don't want that responsibility of care. It is difficult for the council to sort of serve on social services, and they don't know which one to ask, which one sorts it out. There's no information for that.
So it's not just the council. If you need any help outside council work, if you go to the doctors or the hospital, do you have help there? Do you have an interpreter? Or again, do you have to book?
The council don't provide it then. The hospital will provide it. The doctor will provide it. But the council will only provide themselves at their meeting in their office. If I ask for an interpreter, they'll provide it. But if I turn up now and say, what one now? No, I won't get one. They need the equipment like sign video. That's helpful. And that's definitely in the future, sign video.
So if you went...
That's a new thing, isn't it? Sign video, it's a new thing. I used one last week for the first time. I was very impressed. It's good. Only for business, really. Council, hospital, you would use it, but maybe not for like friends meeting. No, it's only really businesses.
So this is the doctors and the hospital.
But they have to re-register and then I have to contact them.
So is this an instant appointment, or do you have to pre-book like you have to book the council?
It's straight away. You can just get it straight away if they have the equipment.
Oh, that is interesting compared with the council then. So the council, in a way, is letting you down compared with other services. Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Maybe they just need someone to tell them then.
This is, it would be good then to try to find the disabled forum, because obviously that's a larger body that could probably ask for support.
But where is the disabled forum? Is it set up at the council offices or is it outside?
It would probably be through like citizens' advice. That's always a good one to go through. That is give you some information. It may not be in your area.
What, the CAB? But they won't pay for an interpreter. But I would, they need to do that. They need to provide an interpreter.
But again, it's
they don't.
Making people aware of it, isn't it?
But voluntary. The CAP is voluntary, of course. It is difficult though, isn't it? That is a problem.
So you've never looked up Disability Forum on your computer or played around with it?
No, only at the hospital.
Mm. So there must be a central office somewhere.
Just one person complained, so they started this forum that people could join. So that has improved.
Mm. And of course that,
but the council needs to improve too.
yeah.
Their website is brilliant, but the access for deaf is not so good.
So you need to get other people involved. One person individual won't change the council, so you need a larger body to get involved.
Maybe wheelchair access, deaf access, maybe blind. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
But the hospital forum, waiting. The forum at the hospital, it was on for 2 hours with different people there. So they need different people, and then they start and explain, and then the next person. The last person then gets to talk, but it's quite brief, really.
Do you find
You need longer time, really, or one-to-one would be better, or a smaller group would be better. Maybe just have a deaf group, not just a disabled group.
Do you think hearing impaired people have less help than anybody?
I think deaf does, yes. I think we get less help. Hospital's good, but the council, no.
It's not having that voice, isn't it?
Maybe you need to make a note of that and bring that up, that we need to have a disability forum, you know, for hard of hearing and deaf, not blind, and in a wheelchair. Maybe just keep them all separate. Maybe you can bring that up with the council.
It's going back to not having a voice. If people in chairs, every speaking person has help. They can be awkward, argue back. But if you haven't got an interpreter, you can't do that. You will be left behind.
Yeah, it is difficult, you're right.
So you need somebody to fight for your corner. So it's finding associations, anything that will help your group.
So, what you mean involved at the council in the meeting? Maybe a manager or housing benefits people. You could have different people in the meeting just to explain what services they have.
Have you ever found a hearing impaired employee within the council when you've gone there?
There's no deaf working there, no.
So when you go there,
Usually if I complain, maybe the MP will help. Maybe if there's something I'm not happy about, the MP will go and sort it out. That's quite good.
because firms are liable, they have to employ disabled people, whatever your disablement is, and if they haven't got any hearing impaired person there, they should be held account. Because there should be somebody there to help you all the time.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Because
interesting.
if you're in a hospital,
I don't know any deaf
No.
that work there at all.
because if you're in a large hospital and there's a foreign patient come in, they will always try to find somebody that speaks their tongue. It would be a temporary help in the council if they had an employee that was a hearing impaired that could help you just for those few minutes without having an interpreter.
That would be useful if a deaf person worked there.
Yeah.
That would be useful, yeah.
They should.
Some have basic sign, just a few, but there's someone that works upstairs. If you ask, you wait 15 minutes or so, they'll come down.
Because in most places they have to
But if
have.
they're on holiday, there's no one there, so
No.
they have to come back on another day.
So that would be interesting to know how many deaf employees or hearing impaired employees they have.
Yeah, I just don't know. No idea at all.
Okay. Righty-ho. So now, if there's no discussion, it's... Oh, is that it? How are we doing? Is there anything else you think that we can help you in any way?
I'm just waiting to hear back about
Yeah.
my council tax. Because I don't think that's fair if other deaf people have had it reduced and I haven't. That's not fair, is it? Why have they had it and I haven't?
And you've waited a fortnight,
1 week.
1 week.
I think they say you should hear within 38 hours, but I haven't. Yeah, so it's quite slow, isn't it?
I would resend it and ask them why. Keep on badgering.
Yeah, I will. I'll have to, won't I? Or go there myself and ask.
And then you have to go through this problem of booking an interpreter, trying to get on in, getting into the building, before you start asking about your council tax, which you'd have heard straight away about.
But they have to give me the information that I need,
Yeah.
so I can then tell them. Yeah, I'm waiting for that, waiting for the reply.
Did they get in touch with you, even just to say that they have received your application?
Yeah, they said we will then reply within 48 hours. But now, yeah, it's been 7 days and I haven't heard.
No, you have to get back to them then.
So I don't know why it's so slow.
I'm afraid nowadays if you don't get back to them,
They need sign video, really. That would be easier.
Yeah.
Because then I could sort that out. I can wait. Because if they register, then we could do that. I could go straight there and sort that out.
so all these things need to be informed to the council, but I think you need a larger body to make the council aware, because they will not change because it costs money. Those people that's got a voice will get things done first. So you need to get in touch with different associations to speak
I agree
to
with
speak
that.
for you.
Maybe I'll ask at the Deaf Club. You know, get some people. And, you know, write out what we want and give it to them. Maybe do that.
Or see if there's a
Do it that
larger association or group, because the larger the group, the louder the voice.
Good idea, maybe, if a council person could come to the Deaf Club and maybe do a presentation and explain their services.
Yes?
Maybe they could come to the Deaf Club.
Yeah.
And then everyone would know what they're saying.
Well, also, you should have somebody coming to you to tell you what benefits you can get, what help you can get, any aids within your house. Because you don't live in a council property, you still should
Yeah, I
have,
need someone to come to Deaf Club.
you should have those that help. As you pay your council tax.
But it's different, isn't it, for a council home? But this is my own private home. They don't. What they provide is different. They don't really give equal at all. But I do have stuff I've had to pay for, but council property you get it for free. So yeah.
But they should still give you information. They should still have information that they can give you or point you in the right direction to help. Or if you are entitled to any benefits or help?
Again, but then I'd need someone to sign because deaf people just struggle to read. They don't know how to apply.
This goes back to the council having a 24/7 interpreter and not having to book it up a fortnight ahead. So maybe you could have a word with the council about that.
Yeah, or just have the staff training, maybe a member of staff to train to become an interpreter themselves. That would save them money in the end, wouldn't it?
So the thing is to get somebody from the council to come to one of your meetings, or finding a larger association that deals with.
But then we'd have to book an interpreter. Because if I ask who would pay for the interpreter, would I have to do it or would they do it? Who would pay?
Right.
Would they pay or would I have to pay?
So it all comes down to money again, doesn't it? Who pays within the council?
Maybe try and ask, could a person come to the deaf club and explain benefits or housing, all the different sort of sections.
Yes.
But then one person won't necessarily know everything, will they?
No, you're going to have that problem all the time, aren't you? But we have that problem if we're speaking. Nobody knows everything and can't give you all the answers. And they're always limited on funds.
Maybe that's why, you see, maybe the website needs to be more clear for deaf people with signers on there. Different, topics, and you can click on it and get signers. I think that would be good. That would be worth it.
So I think at your next meeting with a group of you, maybe if you take computer along, do you have use of a computer at your meeting? Or if any of you...
Meetings we can talk about disability, or, at our AGM. Maybe we can sort of say, you could come along, give us the information, give feedback.
Yeah, and see if there's any forums that you can look up to help.
There's one in Surrey. They do have a forum there, but I'm here in Hampshire, they don't have anything. So yeah, they do need to set that up. Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for this interview. As I said, it's all confidential.
I hope that helped.
And I think you need to do more yourself as well, because it's limited on what the council can do.
I need to keep asking them.
Keep on asking them.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.